Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Today we're back, and today it is time for week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Week 14 NFL season, Sunday and Monday games. Here we go. Already, we had Thursday night football. It happened on Thursday night. My team, as you can see, the Minnesota Vikings, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Vikings took a 23-0 halftime lead, almost blew it in the second half, but their first half, it was the best I've seen them play in 2 years. And then the second half, well, typical Mike Zimmer football. But, yes, so good win, get them back in the playoffs. Here we go, everybody. It is time for week 14. I will forewarn you, I have not made a notes page. I did not have time. It is Saturday, 3:23 p.m. I did not have time to make a notes video this weekend. So, I'm just kind of going to do it on the fly. Let's do this. So, let's start by pulling up the NFL playoff picture. Let's also add Saints versus Jets injury report. That's all we need then. Just those two things. All right, here we go, everybody. This is all going to be post-Thursday night, the playoff picture and everything. Right now, my team, the Minnesota Vikings, are 6-7, sitting at 8th place in the NFC. That could change, possibly, with some different events this weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers took a loss and are now 10th in the AFC with a record of 6 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. Here we go. Let's do it. Beginning with our first game, you can see it on the screen. This is a pretty important game for Minnesota Vikings fans. It is the New Orleans Saints, and they're going up against the New York Jets this week. The New Orleans Saints, everybody. Let me just make sure I have my facts accurate. Yep, CBS early game. My facts are accurate. Here we go. Saints versus Jets. The New Orleans Saints are 12th in the NFC. They have a record of 5-7. I believe the Saints have, if I'm not mistaken, they've lost 4 or 5 games in a row. They lost to the Dallas Cowboys last Thursday night. So, Saints have been on a skid. Then we've got the New York Jets. The Jets are 14th in the AFC. They're holding on to... Oh. I get this. I was confused about this, but I get it now. So there must be a skip number. 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. Oh, I get this. I was confused at how the NFL playoff picture works because there were only 15 teams listed under the AFC. But then I realized that the Houston Texans have now officially been eliminated. The Texans are the first team in the NFL to be officially eliminated. Yeah, even the Lions are still in. Even the Jaguars are still in. But, yeah. The Jets are 14th in the AFC. They have a record of 3 wins and 9 losses. Jets are coming off of... Let's look. The Jets are coming off of a loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost to Gardner Minshew as the quarterback. The Jets got Zach Wilson back at quarterback. Jets still aren't that good of a team. Saints have been sliding bad recently, but I believe Alvin Kamara, I believe, is set to be back in this game. He was a full practice the whole week, so it looks like AK-41 should be back for this game, everyone. Listed as out for the Saints, their left tackle, Ryan Ramczyk, is out. Linebacker Pete Werner is out. By the way, normally I only list starting players when they're out, but because I'm just Googled their injury report and I didn't have time to make a notes sheet, this is going to be everyone on their team that's out or questionable. The third player they'll be without is linebacker Caden Ellis, and they have one player listed as questionable, wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey, with a hamstring injury. He did not show up on the report Wednesday, limited on Thursday, and did not practice Friday, so not necessarily a good time going into the game. Then we've got the New York Jets. Man, they have a lot of questionable. Listed as out, it says corner. I believe it's supposed to say running back. Running back Michael Carter out for this game. I mean, I'm going to Google it to make sure that it's just a mistake on here. Yeah. That's what it says here, yeah. It's supposed to be running back, but it's accidentally listed as CB. Running back Michael Carter will be out for this game. That is a starting running back. They will also be without running backs Kevin Coleman, both of them listed as with concussions. They will also be without tight end Trevon Wesco in this game. He is out. As for questionable, defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, the former Saints defensive tackle, is listed as questionable going into this game. It is a good sign that he went from DNP to limited to full practice, so that is a good sign for him, but he is still questionable. Offensive guard Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, questionable in this game. They recently acquired him during the season. Wide receiver Elijah Moore with a quadricep injury did not practice the whole week, so that is a tough break for him if he does not play. Tight end Brian Griffin is listed as questionable. It is a good sign he went from DNP to limited to full. Linebacker CJ Mosley is also questionable, but he went from DNP limited full. And last but not least, defensive end John Franklin Myers went from limited full with a hip injury. Saints wide receiver Kenny Stills. That must be new news. Kenny Stills. That must be new news that they signed him. Either way, for this game, not too hard of a pick for me. Even though the Saints have been really bad this year, not the whole year. The Saints have been really bad ever since the Jameis Winston injury. They've lost how many games in a row, which is good if you're the Vikings. But the Jets have also been really bad as well. So for this game, I am going to give it to the Saints. I just feel like, I don't know, I just like the Saints. The Saints are just simply the better overall team, even though they haven't showed it recently. I still think the Saints should be able to pull out this game over the Jets. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints over the New York Jets. As a Vikings fan, and yes, I'll do this again this week, I will say who the Vikings want to win. I don't know if any Vikings fans watch these videos, but if we're a Minnesota Vikings fan, we would want the New York Jets to win this matchup. So we're hoping for a Jets win, but personally, I'm going to predict the Saints to take the win in this one. Game 2 is on the way right now. We have the Baltimore Ravens. They're going against the Cleveland Browns this week, everybody. Second game on CBS. Here we go. Got to pull up the injury report, so let me get that done. And then I will be right back to you. Ravens versus Browns injury report. All right, perfect. I have it listed up right here. I'll get to that in just a sec. So we're going to start with the injury report. This is an AFC North battle. Really important game in the division. Beginning with the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, everybody, are currently third in the AFC. They have a record of 8 wins and 4 losses. The Baltimore Ravens are coming off of I'll let you know when I find... they're coming off of a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost a close game at the end. I do remember seeing the headlines that the game, they had a chance to tie it. The Ravens did. The score was 20-19. The Steelers were leading, and they had a chance to tie it, but instead, Harbaugh decided to go for 2, and they did not convert, so they lost the game due to that. Do I agree with the call? I don't dispute it, to be honest. I like John Harbaugh going aggressive. I like him trying to win the game in that situation. Even though it did not pay off in the end, I know everyone's going to look back and say, we shouldn't have done that. But before the play, I'm sure there are a lot of people that were thinking, we should do this. So it's just kind of a catch-22 situation right there, where it's like either you think, great idea that we did that when it pays off, but then it doesn't pay off, and you're like, we shouldn't have done that. Well, you got to take one side and support it. So that's all I'm going to comment about that. So, yeah. So Ravens coming off of a close loss to the Steelers. Then we've got the Cleveland Browns. Browns have been struggling a bit recently. They are 11th in the AFC. They're holding on to a record of 6-6-1. The Browns are currently behind the Steelers, but they're a half game behind the Steelers. So a win this weekend would put the Browns up to what spot? Right now, if I'm reading this right, the Cleveland Browns are currently last in the division. So, but a win this weekend would put them a half game above the Steelers, and that would put them at third in the division. And then again, the Ravens are 8-4, so they'd still be a game behind him, but they would hold the head-to-head tiebreaker, depending on who won the first time. So we're going to look at this Ravens versus Browns schedule. Let's see who won the first time these two teams played. Assuming that they've already played once. Because they might not have. So I'm going to just Google Ravens versus Browns. Let's see. So let's see the first matchup that these two teams played. November 28th, 2021. So that would have been... What week of the NFL year would this have been? It doesn't specifically say. Oh, yeah, this was the game Lamar was awful, and I had a chance to win my fantasy league, but Lamar threw 4 interceptions, and I lost. So this game was played on November 28th, I thought. November 29th. Whatever. The Browns lost in Baltimore by a score of 16-10. Lamar Jackson threw for career-high 4 interceptions, but the team did still win the game. Tomorrow, the Cleveland Browns will be without... Let's see. It says tight end Harrison Bryant, wide receiver Anthony Schwartz, corner Greg Newsome. They all will be out for this game. Newsome was a full participant in practice, but was added to the injury report Friday after hitting his head on the final play of practice. Ooh, that's not good. Harrison Bryant suffered a high ankle sprain in the Browns' Week 12 loss against the Ravens and did not practice this week. Schwartz, the third-round rookie, will be missing his third straight game. Additionally, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski and former Vikings offensive coordinator said the team will be without tight end David Njoku, linebacker Anthony Walker, and punter Jamie Gillen. All 3 are currently on the COVID reserve and are not expected to be cleared for Sunday's game. Defensive tackle Malik Jackson, defensive tackle Jordan Elliott, and safety Ronnie Harrison are all questionable. Corner Greedy Williams has been tapped as the next man up in previous instances when Newsome was unable to play. The Browns have also used A.J. Green on the outside. So that's it for them. I'm gonna... Come on, ClevelandBrowns.com. They have the Browns report, but they don't have the Ravens. I wanted to find the Ravens portion. Alright, here we go with the Ravens. Is this Wednesday? Thursday. Shoot, I don't want Thursday. Guys, why can't I find a final injury report anywhere? Oh, there we go. Perfect. From Ravens Wire. So that means they're going to have it. Are you actually serious? Oh, there it goes. Alright, it's really small, so I'm going to have to look close. For the Ravens, they will be without... They only have 1 out. Offensive lineman Patrick McCarry, he's been out for a lot of the year. Questionable. Corner Anthony Everett. He's doubtful. Wide receiver Miles Boykin. Questionable. Defensive tack. No. Tight end Nick Boyle. Sorry, this is so hard to read because it's so small. I'm sorry. Questionable. Defensive DB Anthony Levine. Questionable. Fullback Patrick Ricard. He dominated the Vikings when they played that game. Patrick Ricard's a chunk. Dude's an absolute beast. And last but not least, questionable defensive back Brandon Stevens and corner Chris Westry. So there's your report. Really, there are a couple major ones, but not really. Patrick McCarty's already been out for a lot of the year. Overall, the team that is better in this matchup is the Ravens. The Browns, did I share who the Browns are coming off their bye week? I still do like the Ravens, even though they're coming off of a last-second loss. I think the Ravens are the better overall team. They should be able to win this matchup. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens over the Cleveland Browns. As a Minnesota Vikings fan, this is an only AFC game, so it does not have any implications on us. Again, Minnesota Vikings fans, this is another AFC game with no implications on us. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars set to take on the Tennessee Titans. Here we go. Let me get the injury report up and running. After I see the Titans schedule ESPN. This will be easier. Then I can find previous results of past matchups, assuming that these two teams have already played this year. Jaguars versus Titans injury report. All right, let's get that all pulled up, and we are set to go. Let's begin with their seeding. Currently, everybody, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I already talked about it earlier. The Jaguars are 16th in the AFC. They have a record of 2 wins and 10 losses. They are technically in the playoff picture, but not really. So, yeah. So, Jaguars are 2-10. They technically could make the playoffs, but they're not making the playoffs. The Tennessee Titans, everybody, are currently sitting at 2nd in the AFC. They have a record of 8-4. They're second to the Patriots, and they are a half game behind New England, who is on their bye week this week. So let's go to previous results. Have these two teams played yet this year? Yes, they have. October 10th, which was week 5 of the NFL season, these two teams played. The Titans won the game 37-19. Tannehill had 197 pass yards, Derrick Henry 130 rush yards, and who is Johnson of the Titans? I do not know him. I don't think I know him. I know some of the receivers, just not him. So, these two teams already played. The Titans took the win. Let's take a look at the injury report before we continue. Obviously, the Titans are still without running back Derrick Henry. He will be out for the season. Maybe make a return deep in the playoffs, but that would be if they were risking him. The Titans will be without 5 players for this contest, including 3 defensive starters. Corner Jack Rabbit Jenkins, linebacker David Long, and DL Tier Tart. David Long has now missed 4 games in a row. This is the 2nd straight game missed for Tier Tart. I hope I say his name right, but no good news. Defensive lineman Danico Autry will be back in this game. Julio Jones will be back in this game, by the way. I did not say that. Wide receiver Julio Jones for the Titans was activated off the IR today. He will be back for tomorrow's game, but A.J. Brown will not be. So 4 players listed as out. Oh, also tight end Tommy Hudson is also out for the Titans. And is linebacker Zach Cunningham, but I think I said that. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They only have 1 player listed with a designation, and that is offensive lineman Brandon Linder with a back injury. He is out for this game. Otherwise, I don't know how much analysis to give in this game. Besides that, I like the Titans. Last week, the Jacksonville Jaguars played, and they lost to the Rams. The Titans played, and nope, the Titans are coming off of their bye week. The Titans did not play. For this game, I do like the Tennessee Titans. I feel like Jaguars are the Jaguars. They still support Urban Meyer, not a good coach. I don't know what else to say besides that. The Titans have been pretty good this year. They have had some missteps in the process. They have been overcoming adversity with the Derrick Henry injury, and I do trust them a lot more in this game than the Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans to win this game. Again, this is an AFC-only matchup, which means the Vikings do not necessarily care about this game. I'm going to go with the Titans. Moving on to our next early game on CBS, we have... Oh, this is our final early game on CBS, in fact. we have got the Tennessee. Nope, that was just the game we just did. The Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders are set to face off against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is an AFC only matchup, which means it does not matter if you're the Vikings. So we're going to go to the Chiefs' schedule and see if these two teams have played yet this year, which I'm assuming they have. I believe, didn't they play on Sunday night recently? Or no, that was the Broncos and Chiefs. Either way, I do feel like these two teams have played. Chiefs. I'm looking for Chiefs and Raiders. These two teams have played. I swear this was a Sunday night matchup, but maybe not. The Kansas City Chiefs won this game. It was... Does it say the week that it was? No, it doesn't really say what week it was of the year. But either way, the Chiefs were able to win this game by a score of 41-14. So, pretty dominant win. The Kansas City Chiefs right now, let me get the injury report pulled up first, and then I will go through this. Chiefs. All right, here we go. Darren Waller's out. That was the first headline that came up, so I'm just letting y'all know. Chiefs, Raiders, let's do it. AFC only matchup again. The Kansas City Chiefs are fourth in the AFC. They have a record of 8 wins and 4 losses. Didn't they start the year like 2-4? Either way, they've won quite a few games in a row. Chiefs have been actually getting back to their old selves lately, which I trusted the process and I figured it would happen. The Las Vegas Raiders are 9th in the AFC. They're holding on to a record of 6-6. This is a must-win game if you're the Raiders, looking at division standings. So, again, Chiefs have a 2-game lead, and really that means nothing if the Chiefs win. That'll put them at a 3-game lead and the head-to-head tiebreaker twice. So, this is, if you want to win the division, this is a must-win game for the Raiders. Injury report, we go, everybody. Kansas City Chiefs will be without corner Chris Lamons. I've never heard of him. Questionable in this game, offensive lineman Lucas Niang. And questionable corner Rashad Fenton. Isn't Rashad Fenton the guy who kind of got arrested or something? Oh, no, that's the guy that got hurt. Who is... There was some dude that got arrested recently in the NFL. I don't remember what it was. Moving on to the Raiders. The Raiders have 3 players out for this game, everybody. Tight end Darren Waller will be out again. This is not his first time being out. Defensive end Carl Nassib will also be out. Linebacker Patrick Onwuasor. I hope I said that right. He is also out. Listed as doubtful for the Raiders, linebacker Denzel Perriman. That is a big piece to the defense if he does not play. Let's see what else. Oh, got a couple IR players. Running back Kenyon Drake of the Raiders was placed on the IR, which means he'll be out for this game. Linebacker Nick Kwiatkowski, a former Bears linebacker, I remember him. He is also on the IR, so he will obviously be out for this game. And that is the injury report. Without Darren Waller, this team does not have... Without Darren Waller, this team does not have much of an offense. They've had so many problems over the year that it's just hard to see them being successful. They have had to overcome so many things like the resignation of John Gruden, the arrest and release of Henry Ruggs, the injury to Darren Waller, and the threat and release of Damon Arnett. It just hasn't been their year, so I don't see the Raiders winning this one. With this being a must-win for the Raiders, that could light some fire under them, but it's hard to see that happening. Chiefs have been back to their old selves lately, and I do think that they should be able to win this game. I like the Kansas City Chiefs in this matchup, so I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. The next team up in the AFC West is the Chargers at 7-5. This is a very important game for the division, for the Chiefs as well, if they're able to win this one. And who do the Chargers play this week? We'll get to them. They play the Giants. Ooh. So this could be a big step in the division race if the Chiefs can win this matchup. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. They just have the better overall team. They've been hot recently, and Darren Waller is out for this game. I like the Chiefs. I'm taking a long time to do these, so I'm going to kind of start hurrying it up. We are on to the Fox games as the early set. Dallas Cowboys are taking on the Washington football team, everybody. Let's get everything rolling. Let's begin. So let's pull up the Cowboys schedule. And you already know the drill. Cowboys schedule, Cowboys injury report. All right, there we go, perfect. The Dallas Cowboys, everybody, currently lead the NFC East, or the NFC least, if you want to call it. They are fourth in the NFC East. They are holding on to a record of 8-4. They've lost 3 out of their past 5 games. The Cowboys have been slipping. The Washington football team is holding on to the number 6 seed in the NFC. They have a record of 6 wins and 6 losses. For the Minnesota Vikings, this is an important game to watch for the wild card race, as Washington is vying for a wild card spot and the Cowboys lead the division. This could be a big step in the division winning process if they win this game. So let's go to the injury report. Dallas Cowboys will be without wide receiver Noah Brown in this game. He must not be a starter. He must not see much playing time because I never hear of him. I've never heard of him. Then we've got questionable. Running back Tony Pollard is questionable with a foot injury. Ooh, this is really important. He's missed practice all week. So, I don't want to, obviously, never wish injury upon someone. I never will. But I am just saying, if Tony Pollard doesn't play, that could be yum-yum time for Ezekiel Elliott, who's on my fantasy team. So I'm just going to say that. But, yeah. For the Washington football team, they will be without guard Wes Schweitzer, linebacker Jordan Kuna. Oh my goodness, I'm not even going to pronounce that dude's name. That is a weird name. Questionable running back J.D. McKissick with concussion, wide receiver Curtis Samuel, linebacker Jamin Davis, and safety Landon Collins. All 4 of those are questionable. They've got some starters banged up, and they've got some other important injuries and things that we're going to go through right now. Tight end Logan Thomas of Washington suffered a knee injury last Sunday against the Raiders. He will be without. He is placed on the injury reserve, which means he'll be out for at least 3 games. So, that means the next time he could return is 14, 15, 16. Week 17 he could return. Another key starter, defensive end Montez Sweat, is out. He's on the COVID list. Obviously, that is tough, as well as defensive end Chase Young out for the season. Big injuries on the side of Washington. The Cowboys have overcome a lot of their injuries. CeeDee Lamb is back in the lineup. Michael Gallup is back in the lineup. Amari Cooper was hurt, but it does not look like anything here. Oh yeah, Amari Cooper, he was on absence due to COVID, but he is back now. Ezekiel Elliott has played through injuries, but he should be good to go. So, yes. Let's go to the Cowboys schedule. The Dallas Cowboys, everybody. There we go. These 2 teams have not played each other twice. These 2 teams play each other right now in Week 14, and then they play again in Week 16. Let me go to the Cowboys. No, this is the Cowboys. Let me go to the Washington schedule. I'm pretty sure Washington, I saw, has a weird schedule quirk, so I'm going to look at it. If I know this right. Yeah, this is weird. So, Week 14, Cowboys versus Washington, in Washington. Week 15, Week 15, Washington at Eagles. Week 16, Washington at Cowboys. And then Week 17, Eagles at Washington. So it goes Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. So they play the same two teams 4 weeks, but it's just staggered A B A B. That is really weird. I've never seen anything like that before. The closest thing I'd associate is last year. I believe it was the Dolphins and Jets. The two teams played, then they both had their bye week, and then they played each other again. So they basically played each other twice in a row, but with a bye week in between, if I remember it right. But that is weird. It goes Washington versus Cowboys, Washington versus Eagles, Washington versus Cowboys, and then Washington versus Eagles. So that is really interesting right there. The Washington football team will be without some key components in this game. They are coming off of a win over the Nope, that was 2 weeks ago. That was last week. They're coming off of a win over the Las Vegas Raiders. The Dallas Cowboys are coming off of a win last Thursday against the New Orleans Saints. I trust the Cowboys a lot more in this matchup. They have been skidding recently, but I do trust them to get back on track in this one. Important game in the divisional race. Obviously, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, we would want the Cowboys to win this matchup. And as a personal pick, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Injuries are going to be a key piece to this game. And for Washington, and with key players out, I do like the Cowboys, so I'm going Dallas. The Seattle Seahawks and Houston Texans are the next matchup. The Seattle Seahawks, everybody, are coming off of a win against the San Francisco 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks... Oh, that was Seattle. The Houston Texans are coming off of a loss to the Indianapolis Colts. The Houston Texans, everybody, are currently sitting at 15th in the AFC. They have a record of 2-10. They are the only team in the NFL out of the playoffs. The Seattle Seahawks are 15th in the NFC. They have a record of 4 wins and 8 losses. The Seahawks, could they make the playoffs? Technically, yes, but not really anymore. It looks like they're out of it by this point. So, yeah. So let's go to Seahawks versus Texans injury report. Here we go. Seahawks will be without safety Jamal Adams in this game. Interior offensive lineman Kyle Fuller will be out for this game. Offensive tackle Brandon Shell is out for this game, as is running back Travis Homer. Questionable safety Quandre Diggs, limited participant in practice with a calf injury. He's questionable. Texans will be without defensive back Terrence Brooks, and obviously Deshaun Watson is listed too. I did see as quarterback news, the Texans will be starting, what's his face? The Texans will be starting Davis Mills for the rest of the season over Tyrod Taylor, which is interesting, but I'm sure because they're out of the playoffs, they just want to get reps for him. They have a lot of players questionable for the Texans. Linebacker Kevin Pierre-Louis, or Louis, but I'm going to say Lewis because that seems more right. Wide receiver Brandon Cooks is questionable. Defensive lineman Jonathan Greenard. Tight end Brevin Jordan. DB AJ Moore. And DB Jimmy Moreland. Yeah. So that's about what I got to say for that. I don't know what to say in this matchup besides both teams are not that good. Texans are bad. Seahawks are pretty bad as well. I don't know what to say besides I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. As a Minnesota Vikings fan, we would want, even though this game doesn't imply a lot of pressure compared to some of the other ones, we would still want the Texans to win. So we want the Texans to win, but I'm going to go with Seattle. Both teams in this matchup are pretty bad, so I really don't know what to say besides pick a team. So, yeah. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. Why? Don't know. I just feel it. I'm going Seattle. Now this is what you call an important game for the Minnesota Vikings, everybody. Falcons, Panthers. Big NFC South showdown. big important game for the Minnesota Vikings. This is another early game on Fox. Sorry. Let me just pull up the Carolina schedule, make sure these two teams have played already, and let me pull up the injury report. Carolina Panthers injury report, and then we're good. Sorry. All right, here we go. The Atlanta Falcons are 11th in the NFC. They have a record of 5-7. The Carolina Panthers are 10th in the NFC. They have a record of 5-7. The Panthers hold the tiebreaker. Let's see if it's because of head-to-head. Yes, it is. These two teams played in Week 8. The Panthers took the win 19-13. Injury report time. Out. 2 players are out for the Panthers. Offensive guard John Miller and offensive guard Michael Jordan. Is that the Michael Air Jordan? I don't know. They will both be out for this game. Questionable in this game. Linebacker. I'm gonna try and say it. I'm gonna try and say it. Adetokumbo Ogundeji or Deji. He is questionable. And questionable as well is safety Richie Grant. And yeah, that is their only 2 injuries. This is a very important game in NFC playoff picture. The Minnesota Vikings have not faced the Panthers this season, and they will not face the Panthers. The Vikings played against retract what I said. The Vikings have not played the Falcons this year, and they do not play the Falcons. They did play the Panthers in Week 6. Overtime game, the Vikings took the win in Carolina, which is obviously important. As a Minnesota Vikings fan, this is really a toss-up game, but we would want the Panthers to win only because the Vikings have the head-to-head tiebreaker. Technically, if this game could end in a tie, that would actually be better. But if we had to pick a team, we would rather the Panthers win because the Vikings hold the tiebreaker over the Panthers. These two teams, did I already announce what they're coming off? Nope. The Carolina Panthers are coming off of their bye week. The Atlanta Falcons are coming off of a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For this game, I like the Panthers. Why? I don't know. I'm just feeling it. I'm not even kidding you. I don't have a reason why I like the Panthers. I just have a feeling that the Panthers are going to win this game. So just let me enjoy my feeling and not my words. Because I don't have any words for this game. I like the Panthers, so I'm going to go with the Panthers. Why? I honestly have no idea. I just have a feeling in my head that says, go with the Panthers. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. Now we've got the 49ers and Bengals. This is our 49ers at Bengals. This is our first late game. This is a CBS late game. The first late game on CBS. These two teams are in opposite conferences, so they would not have played each other this year. So let's look up Bengals injury report and let's get started. The San Francisco 49ers, this is another important game for Vikings fans as well. The San Francisco 49ers, everybody, are 7th in the NFC. They have a record of 6-6. They are 3rd in the NFC West. They are 2 games behind the Rams, and they are 4 games behind the Cardinals. So the division does not look like it will be going to the 49ers, but they still have a chance if they want to overtake the Rams. So let's go to the injury report. Yep, there we go. Perfect. The Cincinnati Bengals are 6th in the AFC. They have a record of 7-5. The San Francisco 49ers are coming off of a loss to the Seattle Seahawks. This would have been a very important game had the Vikings won last Sunday against the Lions. Then that would have put them at the same record as the 49ers. And then the 49ers only hold the head-to-head tiebreaker. So then they would have had a chance to overtake them this week. Unfortunately, the Vikings did not beat the Lions. Therefore, it is still super important for the Bengals to win this game. Vikings fans, we want the Bengals to win this matchup. If the Bengals win, then that would put the Vikings and 49ers both at 6-7, but the 49ers hold the tiebreaker. So that means next week the Vikings would be able to break out ahead of them. Next week, the 49ers play the Falcons. Ooh, that's going to be a really important game as well. Ooh, I love playoff vibes when we get this far into the NFL season. So this is why I'm liking it. A lot of good games this week and next week. And I'm sure the whole season they're going to be good games from now on because they all have implications. The Bengals are coming off of a loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. Yes. So, let's pull up injury report for this game. The 49ers out running back Trenton Cannon. He doesn't play often, so that's fine. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw is out for this game. Running back Elijah Mitchell is out. Defensive lineman Maurice Hurst is out. And corner Emmanuel Mosley is also out. Questionable corner Dante Johnson and wide receiver Deebo Samuel. That would be very important if Deebo Samuel does not play because he is a big piece to the 49ers offense. The Bengals will be without Chris Evans and Logan Wilson. Doubtful defensive tackle Tyler Shelvin. I believe he's played for the Packers, but that might not be certain. Questionable. Oh, also Marcus Bailey is also doubtful. Questionable. Corner Chidobe Awuzie, wide receiver T. Higgins, and the running back Joe Mixon. Both teams have important players on the line. Deebo Samuel for the 49ers, and then we've got T and Joe both on the ling for the Bengals. Tough loss last week for the 49ers. Home game for the Panthers. Bengals, I'm sorry. I've made a few verbal mistakes in this video, but I'm sorry. Bengals are coming off of a tough loss against the Chargers. I remember in that game, the Chargers had the lead. They started up like 21 or 24-0, and then the Bengals fought back, and then the Chargers pulled away again at the end for the win. But it was a good game. For this game, I do like the Bengals to rebound in this one. 49ers, it just simply wasn't their day last week. Even though they have been good, it will be important to see whether or not Deebo Samuel plays. With Elijah Mitchell out, that is also a big piece of their offense. I do like the Bengals in this one. Hopefully T. Higgins and Joe Mixon can play in this game because that would help them. Vikings fans, we want the Bengals to win, and I'm going to go with the Bengals to win this matchup as well. Another big game here, not necessarily for the Vikings, but just an overall big game. This would have been a good one on opening night of the NFL season, I think, would have been this one. The Bills and the Bucs are coming up next, everybody. This is our second and final late game on CBS. The Buffalo Bills, let's pull up the Bills versus Bucs injury report. Let's do it right here. Final injury report. All right, let's start with the standings. The Buffalo Bills are 7th in the AFC. They have a record of 7 wins and 5 losses. The Buffalo Bills are coming off of a close loss to the New England Patriots this past Monday night. That was a super windy game. The Patriots attempted 3 passes the whole game, and the Bills just simply could not pull out the win. I needed Stephon Diggs to give me like 26 points to win my fantasy league. He did not, but that is also not that surprising either. I also could have won in one of my other fantasy leagues. I needed Nick Folk to hit 10.5 points worth of fantasy football points kicking, and he only got 7 points. But I had a chance at winning, but he just couldn't do it because it was so windy out. So then we've got the Bucs. The Bucs, everybody. Oh, so the Bills are 7-5. They're 7th in the division. The Patriots are 9-4. They're a game and a half ahead, but the Patriots' bye week is this week. So this is going to be an important game for the Bucs. If the Bucs are able, let me just say it all again. This is an important game for the Bills. If the Bills win this game, that would put them a game behind the Patriots, even though the Patriots, I believe, hold the head-to-head tiebreaker in at least one of the matchups. But this is still a very important game, must-win game if you're looking at division standings for the Bills. They need to win this one. The Tampa Bay Bucs are third in the NFC. They have a record of 9 wins and 3 losses. They have the same record as the Packers, and they're a game behind the Cardinals. They are a game ahead of the Cowboys. Second in the NFC South is the Panthers. Correct? Correct. The Panthers, all 3 teams, the Panthers, Falcons, and Saints are all 5-7. So that would make them 5-7. That would put them 4 games behind the Bucs. So the Bucs kind of do have the division on lock right now, but you never know. You never know. It's possible, but you never know. It does look like the Bucs are going to win the division. Injury report we go. The Buffalo Bills will be without defensive tackle star Lotulelei, tight end Tommy Sweeney, questionable. GB. What does GB mean? Is it supposed to be DB, RB? I think it's supposed to be RB. Reggie Gilliam and defensive end Ife Obada will play. Defensive tackle Ed Oliver. He is listed as will play. Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be without safety Jordan Whitehead. Questionable in this game, Jalen Darden, Jamel Dean, Brian Jensen, Will Golston. Will play Jason Pierre-Paul, Vita Vea, Ali Marpet. The Bucs will be with corner Richard Sherman. He was on the IR, but he will be back for this game. The Bucs have been pretty good for the most part this year. The Bills have been hit or miss of a team. They've had some games where it's like the Bills, and then there have been some games where they're like the Bills. But they've had a really up and down year. I like the Bucs. I like the Bucs at home, and I do think the Bucs should be able to take a win. As a Vikings fan, this game doesn't matter to the Vikings unless the Vikings somehow win the NFC North over the Packers. This game really doesn't have any implications. So technically, if you're looking from a division standpoint, if you're looking at the Vikings to win the division, then we'd want the Bills to win. But if you're just looking for a playoff spot like me, really doesn't matter who wins this game. I do like the Bucs in this matchup, so I am going to go with the Bucs. I've had weak reasoning the whole video on why I think these teams are going to win, but yeah, I just don't have good reasoning for a lot of these. It's just I just have a feeling this team's going to win. And I don't have my notes sheet written up, so it's a lot harder to do it. So yeah, that's part of the reason is because I don't have a notes sheet made up, but I still wanted to get the video done. So that is part of the reason why I have weak reasoning to a lot of things. Giants and Chargers are coming up next, everybody. The New York Giants are 13th in the NFC. They have a record of 4-8. Technically, they're kind of out of the playoffs, but they do technically still have a shot. The Giants, which means that the Vikings would want the Chargers to win, but whatever. The Los Angeles Chargers, on the other hand, are 5th in the AFC. They have a record of 7-5. The Chargers are 1 game behind the Chiefs, so it would be very important if the Chargers win and the Chiefs lose against the Raiders. So, the Giants are coming off of a loss to the Miami Dolphins. The Chargers are coming off of a win over the Cincinnati Bengals. I've already got the team I'm going to pick in my head, but we're going to go through the injury report anyway. 3 players are out for the Chargers. Linebacker Kyler Fackrell, former Packer. They also will be without safety Alohi Gilman and corner Asante Samuel. He's been out for a lot of the year, so this is not the first time. Questionable in this game, defensive lineman Justin Jones. For the Giants, they will be without quarterback Daniel Dimes. Yes, Daniel Jones will be out in this game, leading the way for the Mike Glennon to start. Also out for this game, corner Adoree Jackson And wide receiver Kadarius Toney is also out. He's been out for a lot of the season, so not the first time. Questionable in this game, we have got listed as questionable wide receiver Kenny Golladay. He went from DNP on Wednesday to limited. Then we've also got questionable wide receiver Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard's been hurt a lot of the year. And questionable as well as defensive lineman Danny Shelton. For this game, the Giants are not that good of a team. They'll be without Daniel Jones. The Mike Glennon is starting. Chargers. A lot of people saw the Chargers as a Super Bowl contender going into the year. Yeah, not really. They're not a Super Bowl contender. I do like the Chargers in this matchup. They are just simply the better team overall. I'm going to go with the Chargers over the Giants. Now we've got the Lions and the Broncos, everybody. Here we go. Let's get the report pulled up, and then we will begin. Lions injury report. After this, then we will be prepared. All right, here we go, Week 14. The Detroit Lions are coming off of a win against my Minnesota Vikings. They won on a last-second touchdown. Now they're 1-10-1. The Denver Broncos are coming off of a loss against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night. The Lions will be without linebacker. Oh, I forgot to read their standings, even though I just read who they won against. The Detroit Lions are 16th in the NFC. They have a record of 1-10-1. They're technically not out of the playoffs, but they kind of are. They only still have a chance because they beat the Vikings. So they're 16th in the NFC. They're 1-10-1. Then we've got the Denver Broncos. They're 12th in the AFC. They have a record of 6-6. The Broncos still have a shot at the playoffs, and this is a must-win game for them if they want to make it. This team is last in the AFC West. They are at the same record as the Raiders. They are 1 game behind the Chargers and 2 games behind the Chiefs. So this is a must-win game for the Broncos. Injury report time. The Lions will be without linebacker Julian Okwara in this game. They'll also be without linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Jalen Reeves-Maybin was out against the Vikings. They'll also be without running back DeAndre Swift, who is out versus the Vikings. Doubtful in this game is tight end TJ Hawkinson. He must have been hurt during the week because he did not get hurt during the Vikings game. Oh my goodness, do they have a lot of players questionable. This is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Questionable: Michael Brockers, Austin Bryant, Charles Harris, Jonah Jackson. Hold on, I'm just marking my spot. Aleem McNeil, Matt Nelson, Levi Onwuzurike, Riley Patterson, John Pennicini. That sounds like a type of noodle. Penei Sewell, Halapulavati Vaitai, and Nick Williams. All those players are questionable. Woo, that's a lot of players. Moving on to the Broncos. Questionable in this game, linebacker Bradley Chubb. He recently returned from injury that prohibited him from starting the year week 1. So he was out for a lot of the beginning of the year. Questionable as well as defensive end Shelby Harris. That would be important. If he doesn't play, he's a staple piece to the defensive line. And running back Melvin Gordon is also questionable. They will also be without running back Mike Boone, former Viking, as he's on the COVID reserve. And safety P.J. Locke is also on the COVID reserve. For this game, the Lions are coming off of a loss. Nope, the Lions are coming off of a win. Broncos are coming off of a loss. The better team here is the Broncos. I know the Lions they're coming off of a win, but the Lions have been fighting a lot of games this year. They almost beat the Vikings the other time they played. But I do like the Broncos. They know what's at stake. This is a must-win game for Denver. They have both the wild card hopes and division hopes on the line this week. So Broncos I'm going Broncos. They know what's at stake. They know they have to win. I trust Denver to take the win in this one. Sunday night football time. It is the Bears and Packers in an NFC North showdown, everybody. This is going to be a big game. These two teams already played the first time. I believe that the Packers won, but I will make sure. These two teams played in Week 6. The Packers took home the win 24-14. Now let's go to the injury report. Perfect. Playoff picture, here we come. The Chicago Bears, everybody, are coming off of a loss, I remember. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals. The Packers are coming off of a bye week, I believe. Packers are coming off their bye week. The Bears are 14th in the NFC. They have a record of 4-8. The Vikings play the Bears next Monday night. The Packers are currently sitting at 2nd in the NFC. They have a record of 9-3. They're one game behind the Cardinals, but they do own the head-to-head tiebreaker, so that is important to remember. Injury report. Packers injury report. Questionable. Linebacker Devondre Campbell out. Left tackle David Bakhtiari, he's been out a lot of the year. Wide receiver Randall Cobb. Corner Jair Alexander. He is on the injured reserve, but he did return to practice this week, so that means he'll be back soon, though. Yeah. Bears. Let's take a look at the Bears. The Bears will be without linebacker Cassius March. They'll also be doubtful in this game is Andy Dalton and Marquise Goodwin. Justin Fields is set to be the starter again after missing 2 games. Questionable in this game, defensive end Mario Edwards and defensive tackle Akeem Hicks. David Montgomery and Allen Robinson will both play. So, for this game, it's not hard to see that the Packers are the better team. Obviously, we don't want to give the Bears momentum going into Monday night's game, but if the Vikings want to win the division, the Vikings would need the Bears to win this game. It's really no choice other than that. So if we're looking at a division standpoint, which I would say we are, as a Vikings fan, we would want the Bears to win this game. But we also don't want them to have momentum going into next Monday. Either way, it doesn't really matter which team we'd want to win. It's about which team I think will win and whatever happens tomorrow night. I'm going Packers. Why? They are just simply the better team in every aspect. So I'm going to go Packers. Pretty easy choice for me on this one. This game is to close out the week. We've got the Rams and the Cardinals, everybody. The Rams are coming off of a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Cardinals are coming off of a probably win against the Chicago Bears. So, yeah, there we go. Let's get the injury report whipping. And then let's get into this matchup. Let's see if these two teams have played this year. Have they played? These two teams have played. The Cardinals won 37-20 week 4. So right now the Cardinals hold the head-to-head tiebreaker. Let's go to the playoff picture. The Los Angeles Rams are 5th in the NFC. They have a record of 8-4. The Cardinals are 1st in the NFC. They have a record of 10-2. That means the Cardinals have a 2-game lead and the head-to-head tiebreaker. So this is a must-win game for the Rams. As a Vikings fan, we would want the Cardinals to win because the Vikings have no chance at passing up the Cardinals really at all anymore. So we would want the Cardinals to win this game. Injury report, here we come. Running back Chase Edmonds and offensive lineman Justin Pugh are game-time decisions for tomorrow night. Defensive lineman Zach Kerr is out. Linebacker long snapper Aaron Brewer is also a game-time decision. As for the Rams, running back Darrell Henderson is on the COVID reserve, and he is out for this game. Cooper Kupp is also out for this game. David Edwards is out. Oh, wait. Never mind. Wait. I read this wrong. Cooper Kupp is not out. I completely read this sheet wrong. It says LA wide out Cooper Kupp. I thought it said LA without Cooper Kupp. So I'm sorry. My mistake. Cooper Kupp's in. Only Darrell Henderson is out. I made a mistake. Brian Allen is doubtful. Linebacker Terrell Lewis and Dante Dion, who is a corner, are both questionable. I don't know what to say in this game besides I like without Darrell Henderson, either way, no matter what, I do like the Cardinals. They're the better team. Again, this is a must-win game if you are the Rams. I do like the Cardinals in this matchup, so I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals. And that is going to do it for this video. I know my reasons. I know my reasons were a bit weak this week, but I don't know what to tell you besides I'm on a time crunch and I didn't have time to make a full notes sheet. So I just kind of went with the flow and made my honest picks on what I felt like would happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and share it if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a good night. Skol Vikings. No, I said it in the wrong order. Peace out. Skol Vikings.